If you're watching this channel and you don't know who JaysTwoCents is, that would be pretty surprising. But let's say you didn't. He is a custom water cooler and has been doing tech and PC stuff for a long time. I majorly respect him. Just recently, he released a video talking about a budget PC that he bought off the Facebook Marketplace.
So this morning on the way to the gym at like 4 o'clock in the morning, I was just kind of perusing through the marketplace on Facebook, found some pretty decent deals locally, sent out feeler emails, lowballed a bunch of people. Yes. Got one guy that responded to me though, accepted my offer of 500 bucks, and here's what we're getting for the 500 bucks. It looks like it might have been an old iBuyPower build, I'm not sure, but anyway, it's a 11th gen Intel 11700F, so it's not a K SKU, and it does not have an iGPU, but it's still plenty of CPU. It's an i7 for gaming. 16 gigabytes of DDR4, I think it's 3200 megahertz, nothing crazy fast, but not too slow either. It's got a 6600 XT graphics card. So not the highest end graphics card, not the lowest end. It's really comparable to doing something like a 3060 type of graphics. Obviously it's AMD.
So the PC Jay picked up around here would be worth about $400. Future editing self here, I did do a little bit more poking around and found the average to be closer to like $450 to $500 for a similar spec system. I know it has an i7 and a pretty decent GPU, and altogether it is a pretty nice package, but you can get way better deals by individually hunting the parts, which is something that Jay didn't do in this video. I would love to see him make a newer video where he goes out and hunts the parts individually, you know, maybe buys a case separately, buys this separately. So I kind of want to go over how much better my version of his PC for under $500, because I'm actually under $500 is, and I actually went and started hunting these parts already. Starting from the exciting to the less exciting, this motherboard, did not buy this. I actually bought the 5800X. This is a non-3D that was in this board. Reason I didn't buy the board, even though it was a really good deal, he wanted $150 for everything. I got the chip for $100. I have way too many B450s and a bunch of AMD boards, so I decided to skip on the board. In hindsight, maybe I should have bought it, but so $100 there. Up next, same guy, one day later. The guy that I just bought the 5800X off of posted an RTX 3070 with a water block for $200. So now I'm going back down there to the same spot. It's kind of a trip. It's like a 35 minute drive one way, so that's an hour drive. So you just have to start adding in gas and all that stuff. And yeah, so I'm gonna go back and pick that up. I offered $200, he took the offer. One thing that's nice about this is water block is worth at least 40 bucks. I know I could sell this really easily for 40 bucks. So it really makes it like a 3070 for $160. I'm not going to factor that into the total cost of the system, by the way. I just wanted to mention it as it does have some value. All right, next up is this Samsung 980 Pro 2TB. And this is where I kind of wanted to talk about it. JaysTwoCents, you know, all he had was a 500 gigabyte NVMe. I got this for $50. This was a little unusual. I did have it shipped to me, which was a little sketchy at first. The girl was a little bit weird. I was like, maybe it's a scam, but it wasn't, and it showed up. Up next, this one I actually got for free in a parts deal. Future editing self here again, talking over my self-talking. I ended up not using this 240 AIO just because it really does not fit in this Sama 205 case very well. So keep that in mind if you guys end up buying a case like this one. Shout out to Mel for dropping the Assassin Thermalright cooler for $10. Up next, I got the power supply, and this power supply I got for $10. I had to buy some cables for it, and that was it. Basically, the power supply was free, just paid for the cables, and we're good to go. Other parts that I bought are the Sama PC case. It's this case right here. I have actually used this in another video. I bought a couple of them. Unfortunately, I did steal the fans out of the one that I have left for a different build. So I have some other deep cool fans that I got for free with a bunch of other parts that I bought. So what I'm getting at here is if you kind of hunt parts down or you're pretty good with using the marketplace, you can really get amazing deals. If you go out and just buy one PC and that's all you want to do, you know, it'll be a little bit tougher. But if you want to hunt the parts individually, kind of like message people and not lowball them, but ask them if they have anything else for sale and that kind of stuff, you can kind of put out feelers and end up getting some really amazing deals. So the last part is the memory, and these actually went up a couple of dollars. I noticed I purchased them for $38 about a week ago. through my girlfriend's Amazon Prime. So I don't know if she has a different deal. I notice sometimes people like my friend Mel, who has a business, gets completely different deals than I get. So currently right now, not logged in, these are sitting at $40.99, but I paid around 40 bucks shipped. So that will be added into the total cost. And yeah, let's get into setting this PC up and throwing it together real quick. And then we're gonna get into some of the benchmarks and talk about how much better my PC is than Jay's PC. So without turning this into an entire build video, I have to quickly swap over this GPU to its original cooler, throw together the PC as fast as possible, and then I plan to give you guys some B-roll. Alright guys, so what I'm doing here is I'm just copying JaysTwoCents. He basically has all high settings, balanced super resolution, so I'm going to use exactly that, even though this is an NVIDIA card and I could use DLSS, but just to keep things exactly the same as him, let's make sure motion blur is off. And yep, so this is his exact settings. He got around 90, I believe it was 90 frames per second. Let's see here.
Check it out, we're getting a solid, consistent 79 to 81 FPS. We're only at 63C on this GPU, 62. Remember, we still have the 3 front fans going and it's exactly the cooling setup as it was set up.
All right, so Jay actually was in this same kind of area. It's the industrial area, I believe. I did beat this game. I have not played it in a long time, so I'm not like super familiar with all the map areas and locations, but it does kind of matter because when you're playing this game, there are pretty big fluctuations depending on where you are. But in this kind of general area, you're actually going to see a little bit less performance right now with this card due to the fact that we're in a foggy section of the game. He was running, I think it was like sunlight daytime. I will throw up a comparison on the screen, but yeah, I think he was getting around like 75 to like 85 FPS in this area, and we're doing about 110. You know, if you move the camera around, it'll drop. I think every once in a while you'll see it drop below 100, but a great deal performance, a good deal more performance than Jay's $500 system. Yeah, on to Counterstrike 2. So now we are playing some Counterstrike 2, just as JaysTwoCents did. JaysTwoCents did say that you had to hack the game to get the FPS, but actually all you really need to do is go into your settings and turn the FPS on in the corner. It'll pop up in the top right corner there. I went ahead and jumped right to the Ultra settings because he was running some other configuration at first, and then jumped to Ultra because he could. Because on the 6600 XT, it'll run Ultra just fine. So I went and jumped to Ultra right away, and as you can see in the corner there, 230, 250, all the way up to 330 FPS. I think his was jumping down into like the 120 range quite often, and then back up to like 170 to 250. It's going to be hard without like a real benchmark showing exactly the numbers across the board. You know, this game's a little tough because you can't use MSI Afterburner, so I'm not seeing any like frame time spikes or anything like that. It does feel really smooth, but it's definitely outperforming Jay's PC quite a bit as well. I cannot find anyone in this bot match. It's pretty amazing. All right, guys, this is CINEBENCH, and Jay got
a 10,116 score. It's kind of looking like an AMD rig at this price point. Might have been a better benefit to us than an 11700F.
So let's see what we get for a multi-core score, just a single run of CINEBENCH, and let's let it run through. All right, guys, it finished. We got a 14,798. Pretty decent amount of performance over the 11,700 non-K that he has in that system. So I'm very happy with that score. And yeah, that's gonna pretty much do it for all this. I do not have Helldivers, so I'm not gonna test Helldivers, but The thing that I'm really trying to press here or explain to you guys is that if you spend a little bit more time, like take a week, really hunt for these parts, maybe even a month. So you get a month, you saved up all this money and you want to build something or get something like Jay was showing off, a used PC that's gonna perform really well. Do as much research as possible. Just look around the market. Do not go out and just buy a whole like pre-built like that, unless it's an insane deal. Like if that PC that he got was like 350 bucks, I would say go get it. That's a really good deal. But when you're starting to like really want more performance, you can really hunt this stuff down. People are gonna sell upcoming very soon when the 50 series drops. People are gonna be selling 30 series cards like really cheap. And 30 series cards and even like a 6700 XT, those cards are still gonna perform really, really well for a very long period of time. So my thing is, if you hunt the parts individually, you're just gonna get a way better deal 99% of the time. There are situations where like you'll get a dud, and that's kind of the risk you take of going online and buying used hardware on places like Facebook Marketplace. So that being said, I don't know. I think this looks pretty good. If you guys have any thoughts, leave a comment down below. If you enjoyed the video, drop a like, leave a comment, sub if you want, and I'll see you guys in another video. Bye.